In the realm of business and leadership, the need for constantly prove yourself can be a heavy shackle. Consider, therefore, these points. The first one is exhaustion from external validation. When you live in a state of perpetual self-justification, every success is met with the next challenge. And there is always more to achieve, more to prove. And this cycle leads to burnout and a deep-seated dissatisfaction. Basing your self-esteem on external approval often leaves you vulnerable to criticism and failure. True self-worth is not dependent on accolades or recognition. When you are free from the need to impress, you are more likely to take creative risks and make decisions that align with your authentic version rather than what is expected from you. I know many of you struggle with sleepless nights, haunted by the fear of not measuring up. You feel the pressure to constantly outdo your last success and worry about the opinions of others. You might even feel isolated, believing that your worth is measured solely by your business outcomes. And this relentless pressure can stifle innovation and leave you emotionally drained. The truth is, the freedom that comes from no longer needing to prove yourself is a very powerful antidote to these very pain points. It comes to my mind Maria. Let me show you the story of Maria. Maria, exceptional driven CEO of a burgeoning startup. For years, Maria was haunted by the fear of failure. We worked together, and every time she was telling me about her achievements, she also told me that every achievement was overshadowed by the looming question, is it enough? She was always asking herself, is it enough what I'm doing? Her constant need to prove herself led to stress and strained relationships with her team. And when we began working together, I guided her to reflect on her core values and realize that her self-worth did not come from external accolades, but from her inherent qualities, her resilience, her vision, and her integrity. She embraced this truth. And Maria experienced a profound shift. She no longer felt compelled to chase every approval. Instead, she focused on authentic leadership. And I remember her team noticing her newfound calm rallied around her, and her business flourished in ways she never imagined. So I propose you an exercise to help you let go of external validation. Spend about 10 minutes on this exercise. Find a quiet place. Sit in a comfortable, undisturbed place. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths to center your thoughts. Reflect on the need to prove something to others. That need that you're feeling at the moment. In your journal, write down moments in your professional life when you felt compelled to prove yourself. Be specific. Write down what triggered that need. What were you trying to validate? And then identify the impact. List how these moments affected you. Stress levels, decision making, relationships with colleagues. Then write a declaration. On a fresh page, write a declaration that reads, I am enough. I am enough as I am. My value is intrinsic. I am enough. My value is intrinsic and not measured by external validation. Read this aloud, slowly, letting the words resonate with you. Then commit to release. Conclude by setting an intention to focus on what you value internally rather than what is expected externally. Note a specific action you can take this week that aligns with this new perspective. Allow yourself the time to process these reflections, and of course, the more honest you are with yourself, the closer you get to the freedom of simply being. One evening, during a solitary walk through an old neighborhood, I paused by a familiar park bench, like the one I'm sitting now. And there, I allowed myself to be vulnerable, like I am now with you, and to acknowledge the fears and the doubts that had shadowed my journey. It was in that moment of raw honesty that I began to truly embrace my inner self. And I mean the flaws, the strengths, and all. And this intimate acceptance was transformative. It shifted my focus from a perpetual need to impress to a deep understanding that my true value was inherent and immutable. I realized that true self-worth is a quiet, unshakable force that comes from within. Authentic self-worth is not about the accolades you accumulate, the recognition you receive. No, it's about knowing who you are at your core. Who are you at your core? Here's why it matters. It matters because when your self-worth is rooted in your own values, the opinion of others have less sway over you. Embracing your true self builds an inner confidence that no external challenge can diminish. When you are free from the need to conform, you are empowered to think differently and innovate boldly. With true self-worth, you experience a liberation from the cycle of self-doubt and the fear of failure. For many high achievers, the constant quest for validation leads to a fragile sense of self. Perhaps you feel that your worth is measured by your successes and that any failure diminishes your value. And this internal battle often creates a disconnect between who you are and who you think you should be. It's a lonely fight. It's a lonely fight and a secret struggle that can leave you feeling isolated and inadequate, even when outwardly successful. I had learned to let go of the need for external proof. Yet, deep inside, I still carried the scars of past insecurities. I recalled the many times I had measured my worth by the outcomes of my endeavors, only to find them fleeting and hollow. A good example is Jonathan, a client of mine, a high-powered executive in a competitive industry. Because once he confided, despite his achievements, he felt like a fraud. He was plagued by the impostor syndrome, a constant nagging voice that told him he was never enough. Through our work together, Jonathan began to explore his inner narrative. We work on identifying his core strengths and values, separate the external metrics of success from the internal values at the core of his own being. Over time, Jonathan learned to honor his authentic self. He began to make decisions based on his true values rather than the fleeting approval of others. His newfound self-worth not only bolstered his confidence, but also transformed his leadership style, making him a more compassionate, decisive, and innovative leader. Now I want to give you an exercise. It will take 10 minutes. First, reflect on your inner voice. Take a moment to sit quietly and focus on the thoughts that arise when you consider your self-worth. Write them down in your journal and then identify core qualities. List 3 qualities or strengths that are intrinsic to you, to who you are, and not tied to external achievements. Or for example, resilience, empathy, creativity. Then step 3, connect with your values. Writing down your top 3 personal values and reflect on how these values have guided your decisions and actions independent of external validation. Step 4. Affirm your identity. Compose a short personal affirmation that encapsulates your true self. For example, I am valuable and whole, not because of what I achieve, but because of who I am. Say this affirmation aloud, slowly, letting it sink. Then step 5, visualize your authentic self. Spend a few moments visualizing yourself, operating from this place of intrinsic worth. Leading with confidence, making decisions from the heart, and radiating genuine self-assurance. Embrace this exercise as a step toward reconnecting with your authentic self. The journey to true self-worth is an ongoing one, but every reflection brings you closer to inner freedom. I recall a defining moment when I was presented with an opportunity that many would have jumped at, a shortcut to success that promised immediate rewards, but and a steep ethical cost. The pressure was immense. The temptation to impress, to add another glowing bullet point to my resume, was strong. Yet, in the stillness of a long introspective night, I revisited all that I had learned about true leadership and integrity, and remembered that nothing is better than the liberating feeling of having nothing left to prove. And so I realized that my legacy was not meant to be measured in external accolades, but in the quiet, steadfast impact I could have on the world. I chose the harder, slower path. A path of purpose and integrity that promised genuine fulfillment over superficial praise. Living with purpose means aligning your action with your core values and the long-term vision, independent of external recognition. Decisions with integrity. Purpose-driven leaders make choices that honor their values, even when it means sacrificing short-term gains. The battery of my smartphone is running out, so I must leave you here. He says it will shut down in 30 seconds.